How's it going, folks? Welcome back to the channel. This is what we're working on today. It's a piece of ash. You see I've taken the back off because I couldn't get it into the big drill to drill these holes. So we're going to be hopefully making some kind of natural edge bowl. I had to go quite a long way into the piece to find some decent wood for my mortise. So we're going to mount it on the chuck that way and turn this way. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or as we like to say here at Willie's Woodshop, alright, we're back with another video, and it's ash. I've said that. It's a lump of ash. I cut this ash down at least 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, and it sat in a firewood pile for a year, and then it was processed up, or I should say the rest of the wood was processed up, and this bit was saved. And this piece of wood was where there would have been a tree limb coming out from this, and it had been ripped off at some point in the tree's life, and it had grown, you know how the tree closes a wound. So I thought that grain would look interesting. Perfect candidate for a natural edge bowl because it was all, you know, wavy around the top. So that's what we're going with, folks. I've never successfully pulled one off before. Sounded a bit strange. I've never successfully pulled off a natural edge bowl. It still sounds strange, doesn't it? Right. Okay. You can tell I've had my coffee this morning. So, we're spinning at 1400 RPM. No, that's a lie. We're spinning at 800 RPM at this moment in time. It was a little bit out of balance. And I didn't bother trying to make it round because I wanted to keep that contour, that natural edge. So we just put the bowl shape straight in from the back. I'm just putting in a rough mortise now, and then back to shaping the outside. It's coming slowly into balance. Hopefully we'll be able to turn it up to 1400 shortly. It's quite a heavy chunk of wood to be spinning at 1400, but plenty of cracks in it. I did experiment with the coffee today. There we go, that's 1400 RPM. I did experiment with the coffee, filling the holes, and I wasn't overly impressed. Maybe I was doing it wrong. Somebody in the comments said I should be grinding it up into a fine powder, and I think you are correct. That would have worked a lot better. And I also think my CA glue is too thick. Even though I've got the bottle marked thin, it's too thick. It doesn't soak through well enough. So if anybody in the UK knows where I can get some ultra thin CA glue, then please let me know. So we're getting there now, aren't we? We're pretty much into a bowl shape. Just time to sharpen up that mortise. Just chasing away the last of the flat spots. Got a nice strong mortise on the back today, which is always helpful. Alright, this one was sanded up to 600 grit. Started out at 40 grit because I made a bit of a mess of it, so sandpaper tidies up everything, doesn't it? Shouldn't really be turning that way, but there you go. Starting to see that lovely grain. You can see where I filled those cracks. So that's sanding paste and shine juice. Absolutely obliterating that paper towel. Well, it looks pretty nice. And we've come to the part of the show where we get to have a look at some of your fantastic work. And today's fantastic work was sent in by Rick Chapman, long-time friend of the show. And somebody had given him that massive maple tree stump, and he was able to find a bit of decent wood, spalted maple, in the centre to make a nice little chunky bowl out of. So thanks very much for sending that in, Rick. And if you want your images to be featured on the show, you can send them to willmakeseverything@gmail.com. Alright, let's hollow it out, shall we? And most of the hollowing was already done because I had to drill about 1.5 inches into it, maybe 2 inches into it, to get to decent wood for the mortise. So not too much to do on the hollowing. So at the minute I'm just tidying up my drill holes and get the tool rest a bit closer. Always helps. I will say this was very, very tough to hollow, especially across the bottom. It didn't like it at all. I assume that's because the grain was changing direction so many times in this, where it had wrapped around itself to heal the wound. Wasn't much fun to hollow. Some big bark inclusions in there. Bit tricky finding that entry point. Have to be double careful you don't go too far with that. Can't really see it when it's spinning at 1400 RPM. There's another bark inclusion just appearing in the centre. So, not ideal turning across the bottom of this bowl. I was just sort of hacking at it rather than doing anything particularly with a decent technique. Couldn't get the angle I wanted because I was hitting the top rim. I look to be cutting a bit high in that shot there as well, don't I? All sorts of things wrong with the way I'm hollowing this out, but there you go. It was so tough, it was sort of just hold on and hope for the best. Alright, that's final depth, folks. One last little tidy up. We just exposed another little bark inclusion in there. It all adds to the character of the piece, doesn't it? So all that's left to do now is sand it up to 600 grit. Now I'm thinking that this is going to be a fruit bowl. So I'm going to finish the inside with Osmo top oil, because that soaks into the grain and goes rock hard, and it leaves a nice finish as well. It's food safe. Oop, nearly lost the drill there. Need to tidy the workshop, don't I? Again. Okay, so I sanded up to 600. I filled all those cracks with the coffee and the CA glue. And on goes the Osmo top oil. Just using a paintbrush, all on the bark as well. Bark was pretty tight on this piece of ash. I was quite impressed with it, really. After 3 or 4 years of not being treated very well, it's still there, so hopefully it will stay on. Just a quick buff with the polishing pad, and we are done. Alrighty, I will leave you as ever with the glamour shots, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. And if you have, then consider hitting the subscribe button and the like button and all that good stuff. And this is the last video I'll be filming from England. Yeah, because at the time you're watching this, I'm currently in Spain, probably on a beach somewhere. But I'm going to try and get something out. So, I'll see you soon with another video, folks. Cheers.